Am I the jerk for being angry with my friends for trying to set me up with people who they know I wouldn't want to be with? I am a 24-year-old man who was in a 4-year relationship that ended at the start of 2024. I haven't really gotten back into the dating scene and have no desire to do so anytime in the near future. Two of my friends, both 24-year-old women, keep trying to help me. I went along with it in the beginning because it's nice meeting new people, but I don't go in with the intention of starting a serious relationship, which I've stated multiple times. I've been friends with these girls for a long time now, and they've seen the type of girls that I've dated in the past. They all kind of fall under the same type of looks and personality. What I'm going to say next is going to sound really vapid, but I am very fit. All my girlfriends in the past have been fit. They know this yet keep trying to set me up with girls who are severely overweight or clearly don't take that great care of themselves. I've started telling them I don't want their help anymore and to stop. I went out to a restaurant with them a couple of days ago and I picked them up. On the way there, they told me that there was a girl who works there and she wanted to meet me because she thought I was cute. I told them regardless of what she thinks, the answer would be no. We got there, and I was introduced to this girl who is the exact opposite of what I said I look for in women to my friends. She ended up sitting with us the majority of the night because her shift was done, and I was just so fed up with this nonsense. They kept trying to set me up with someone that I feel like deep down inside, they know I won't ever date. I asked for the bill, paid the tab, and said I had to run. I smiled and said to the girl it was really nice to meet her, and I dropped all of them off at their homes. I guess me driving that girl home meant to her that I was interested because she reached out to me on Facebook and Instagram. They gave her my number, so she private messaged me on it too. I got really angry at both of them. I told them not to help me anymore and that they know what I look for in women yet constantly try to set me up with someone who they know I'll have zero interest in. Now everyone is saying I'm a piece of crap, saying how all I care about in women is the way they look and how I treat women who aren't pretty like trash. Dude, what the heck, man? I never asked for any of this nonsense. They expect an apology for my outburst at them and to the girl whose feelings got hurt in the crossfire of all this garbage after finding out I had no interest. How is this my fault? Am I the asshole? I just want to reiterate that I never asked for assistance at all. You acted correctly. Your friends are repeatedly creating a situation that is awkward for you and insulting for the girls you're set up with. Nobody is benefiting from this, and it's weird that they keep doing it. If you currently have no want, need, or obligation to date, there's no compelling reason or justification for them to force the issue. Am I the jerk for overreacting when the person I am seeing called me fat? I have been seeing this guy for around 4 to 5 months now. Let's call him Chad. A majority of that time has been long distance since he works in New York City, and I am in Mumbai. Chad is a really sweet guy overall and communicates well, despite the 9.5 hours of time difference. We had met on Hinge and he had told me before as well that he felt I did not look like my pictures. There have also been comments where he has equated my weight to my health and stated that I should want my partner to be healthy. All of these comments have made me feel even more insecure about my body. I have struggled with body image issues all my life. I am a chubby girl and it has taken me years to accept my body. By no means am I plus size, above XXL, but I fall in the mid-size range, LXL. I have always been made to feel bad about my body through comments made by my family, friends, and ex-boyfriends. The general narrative has always been that I would look prettier if I lost some weight. Recently, I was talking to Chad about proposals and how I would want a cute proposal for myself in the future. I mentioned that I also have a dress already picked out for the occasion, if it ever were to happen. This is a dress I bought a year ago, long before I started seeing Chad. He asked to see the dress, so I sent him a mirror selfie of me wearing it. His first comment after seeing the picture was, "You look beautiful, but you need to reduce your tummy to look better." I was really hurt, and all those years of traumatizing comments related to my body came back to me. I started crying involuntarily because that dress means a lot to me, and suggesting that I need a flatter stomach to look good in it really upset me. He apologized for his comment but also went ahead to say that it is not a big deal, and I just want you to be healthy. Why are you reacting this way? He also mentioned, don't you want healthy babies? You would have to be healthy yourself for that. I was really hurt, and the conversation did not end well. He apologized a few times but also got irritated later because I was apparently grilling him too much. Am I the asshole for expressing how I felt, crying, and not accepting his apology instantly? You are not at fault here. Please run. This man is not worthy of you, and his comments are horrendous. He isn't trying to encourage you, he's trying to devalue you. You deserve someone who builds you up, not someone who makes you feel bad about yourself. Am I the jerk for picking up my partner's clothes? I am a bit of a clean freak. My wife, on the other hand, is not. I don't hold this against her. I understand that people with different temperaments have different thresholds for messiness. When my wife's messes are confined to her own spaces, I ignore them. Even when she leaves messes in our shared spaces, I clean them up myself. I'm happy to do the bulk of the cleaning, since my wife cooks our meals and takes care of our dog, for which I'm very grateful. Recently, she started getting angry whenever I did her laundry, since I would put her newly washed and folded clothes in the wrong drawers. I wash and fold all the laundry myself. At her request, I started leaving her clothes folded on the top of her dresser instead. However, she often went several days without putting them away. When this happened, I would put them away myself. This made her angry. We reached a compromise. I would wait 2 days before touching her clothes after folding them so that she would have a chance to put them away herself. Yesterday, I put her clothes away since she had left them on top of her dresser for 3 days. This morning, she had trouble finding one of her shirts because I put it in the wrong drawer. She cussed me out. In response, I told her to pound sand. I said that if she wanted her clothes in the right drawers, she would have to put them there herself within a day. She accused me of being tyrannical, manipulative, and unwilling to compromise. I replied that I had already compromised and that she could resolve this problem simply by putting her own clothes away. As I was typing this paragraph, she texted me threatening to withhold intimacy. Once again, I told her to pound sand. My wife isn't an unreasonable person in general, and the fact that a generally reasonable person thinks I'm an asshole is evidence that I am one. I also often worry that I'm too type A for my own good, even though I try not to foist my clean freakiness on my wife. But I also struggle to see why it's unreasonable to expect a grown woman to put her own clothes away, or at least not to get angry at me for putting them away myself. Am I the asshole? I think you are not in the wrong here. Just leave her dirty clothes in the laundry basket and stop washing or folding them for her. She agreed to a compromise, and you held up your end of the deal, but she cussed you out and threatened to withhold sex as a bargaining chip. You tried, it didn't work. Let her live her slob life. Am I the jerk for calling my parents selfish after they missed my birthday, even though they sent me presents to make up for it? My mom works in America, but I live in the UK with my grandmother, who is 70 years old, and my brother, who is 23 years old. My mom, who is 45 years old, has been working in America for almost 10 years. She comes back only every 6 months because she has to work, but she video calls and texts us too. My birthday was almost 2 months ago, and I turned 14 years old. I expected my mom to come back because she missed my last 3 birthdays due to being busy, but she said she would definitely be coming for this one. My brother asked if I wanted to invite my friends over, but I said no, and that I was only going to celebrate with my mom. That's how sure I was that my mom would come. 1 week before my birthday, she said that she wouldn't be able to make it because work suddenly came up. I was so disappointed, but she told me that she would make it up to me. So I thought she was still in America at the time, but my brother told me that she was in England and just didn't come to where we live. I was even more upset because it's only a 3-hour train ride, and she couldn't take 1 day off to visit. It wasn't a company trip. She was meeting her friends or something. I sent her an angry message and ignored her calls for the next few days. On my birthday, I was miserable. I just hung out with a few of my friends, but it was pretty bad. She didn't even message me happy birthday until the next day, and I think my brother told her to. I became snippy with her and only responded to her texts very curtly, and I wouldn't call her. One day, I received a parcel from my mom. It contained 3 new Nintendo games that she bought for me, and she texted me, asking if I got the surprise. I said I didn't care and haven't touched any of the games because I was still angry. My grandmother and my brother must have been talking to her because she found out I didn't use any of the games and that I was still angry. She messaged me a long paragraph saying that I'm ungrateful and should stop acting out for attention. She added that she doesn't make a big fuss over my brother's birthday and that he's alright with it. I became even more angry and called her selfish, saying she doesn't care about her children. My brother and my grandmother have been getting into arguments with her about me. My brother says that my mom is to blame, but my grandmother said I should be more forgiving because she is really busy. Am I the asshole? You are not at fault here. Your mother chose to be busy and missed out on 3 years of your birthdays, which is truly heartbreaking. It's not your fault, and you deserve so much better than that. Your nan trying to smooth things over doesn't change the fact that your mother's actions are inexcusable. You have always been worthy of love and respect, and her neglect is a reflection of her own issues, not your worth. Am I the jerk for not caring that my child's feelings are hurt and not consoling them? I am a 34-year-old male married to my wife, a 32-year-old female for just over 2 years. We have been together for 6 years and have a great life together. My wife has a 13-year-old son from a previous relationship who lives with us, and I have been in his life since he was 8. I have had dreadlocks for the past 15 years. Naturally, my son wanted to emulate me by getting locks of his own, which he has had for 5 years. Although I strive to be a good father, my son is very spoiled. Whenever I try to instill some discipline, I face resistance from him, his mother, and his grandparents. As a result, I have resigned myself to giving him what he wants, figuring there is no point in trying to discipline him if no one else supports it. He is not a disrespectful child, but he is not as respectful as he could be and is very spoiled. Recently, some kids at his school have been bullying him about his hair, trying to convince him to cut it. His grandfather had already told him not to let the kids bully him into cutting his hair. One day, while we were around some of his friends, he expressed a desire to cut his locks. I reminded him of his grandfather's words and told him he could not cut it. In front of his friends, he called his grandmother, asked if he could cut his hair, and she said yes. He then looked at me and said, "I bet I cut my hair." I responded that we had spent too much money on his hair, and he should not let anyone bully him into cutting it. A week later, my wife asked me again if our son could cut his hair. Frustrated, I said it was his hair and he could do whatever he wanted, but reminded her that his grandfather had said no. Ultimately, he got his hair cut. As you can guess, he now regrets it and wants to reattach his locks. My wife told me about his frustration, but I feel no sympathy because I warned him he would not like it, yet he did it anyway. My wife expressed that I need to be more comforting to him and sensitive to his feelings because this is a hard lesson for him. I responded by saying that I told him it is just hair and it will grow back. But I'm not consoling him or having any pity or sympathy towards him because of the disrespect I received when he chose to call his grandmother in front of me and attempt to shame me in front of his friends. For this, I will not console a 13-year-old who had no respect for me. I do not care that his feelings are hurt because I warned him and, in the end, he got exactly what he wanted. It is not my fault he does not like it. I tried to warn him, and now he has to deal with the consequences. She is upset because I do not have more sympathy for him. Dude, he should have been able to cut his hair in the first place without all these people telling him what to do. The kid is already dealing with high school stress and bullying, so adding family drama over his hair decisions is just overkill. Instead of lording authority over him, a bit of empathy and understanding when he came to you about the bullying would have been much more helpful. It's always a shock for a few days after a haircut, but you get used to it and it grows back. Am I the jerk for telling my dad that my stepmom isn't my mom and never will be? Hi, I'm a 15-year-old female, and my dad, a 39-year-old male, started dating my stepmom, a 29-year-old female, a few months after my mom died last October. I was happy for him, but I told him I wanted him to take it slow. However, they got married just 2 months after dating. Even while dating, there were several issues. First off, he was late to my own birthday and blamed it on me because he thought I was still getting ready. He was over an hour late to the restaurant. There are also several other instances of him wanting us all, me, my 2 brothers, him, stepmom and stepbrother, to hang out together, yet he would only be with them. Now this isn't too bad, but it still hurt. Recently with the marriage, it hasn't been going too well. He still puts them first, and even my younger brother, a 13-year-old male, has said he doesn't believe my dad cares about us. He allows my stepbrother, an 8-year-old male, to basically get away with everything. He never picks up after himself, and I'm forced to. Just the other day, he spit his drink at me in a restaurant, and my dad said to deal with it because he was a kid, and I did the same when I was his age. I didn't do the same, and even if I did, my dad wouldn't have known. My dad wasn't in my life until I was 12 because he was in jail, but that's a different story. He has basically put his new family above us, and it has been really affecting our relationship. Well, my stepmom said something about us having mother-daughter time, and it bothered me. I just smiled and said it sounded fun, but later I told my dad how I didn't feel comfortable with her calling me her daughter, or me calling her mom. I'm already 15. I had a mom who I loved and cared for, and I don't need another one. Well, this made my dad really upset. He started yelling and said that I had to get over the past and move forward, and that I needed to start treating my stepmom and stepbrother as my real mom and brother. I mostly just sat there and stayed silent. It's what I usually do when he yells at me. He called me ungrateful and said it didn't matter because I was a terrible daughter to my actual mother. This is where I broke down and begged him to shut up. He didn't, so I just went to my room and cried. I was always closer to my mom than my dad, so it really hurt hearing him say that. Since then, I've mostly been keeping to myself, coming out only when he tells me to clean up after them and for church. My dad is a preacher and believes that since God forgave him, I have to. I know the death was rough on him, so I'm trying to understand and not get mad, but it's difficult. I know I'm not the best daughter, but it still hurts hearing him yell and berate me every chance he gets. I've been talking to my younger brother more about it, and he feels the same way. Am I the asshole for saying my stepmom wasn't my mom? You did the right thing. Your dad's behavior sounds like serious emotional abuse, and it's important to recognize the signs and look for support. Consider reaching out to extended family or a trusted friend for help. It's essential to prioritize your well-being, especially since your mother was such an irreplaceable part of your life. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.